So, beloved, can you talk about the time where you were under a love spell, please? Yes, I can. Here we go. This woman watched my page for 2 months, put separation spells on me and my spouse. Back then, we was just getting together, really didn't know much about each other, so our foundation wasn't that strong. This woman took my picture off of social media, put spells on me, relentlessly, genuinely convinced herself that I was hers. Didn't matter that I did not belong to her. In her head, I was hers. And in magic, belief and intent is everything. So being delusional is important. And delusion, baby had plenty of that. I didn't realize she was putting witchcraft on me until about 6 months in. So anything before that, I was lost and confused and still kind of playing in my head like, did that just happen? Is that what it is? Because she was real good at playing stuff off, making it seem like I'm crazy. And if I already feel crazy and you making me feel crazy, then naturally I'm gonna think I'm crazy. This woman was writing sigils on me every time we had sex. Placing sigils on my back, placing sigils on my chest, the palms of my hand, behind my ears, on my forehead. So it got to a point to where I started to question things. I stopped trying to have sex with her, started trying to fast. She wasn't having that. Started trying to pull out. She wasn't having that. She wanted to have sex and she wanted me to come in her every time. She wanted whatever that would keep that connection deep and ongoing. She was a high-ranking entity, and truthfully, I'm a high-ranking spiritual being myself. So whenever me and this woman had sex, homie, I could feel the different portals opening up around me. It's almost like the moment she slid down on it, we would leave this realm and go to another one. Me and this woman would have sex for hours. I'm talking 3, 4, 5 hours straight. Lose track of time. And a lot of times I would often forget where I was. A lot of times where I felt like I was out of my body. Another thing about this woman, homie, she never did anything without permission. She always would stand at the door until I invited her in. Now these are all common things, homie. It's natural for us to say, come on in. Go ahead, have a seat. You don't really think that you're coming into agreement with the spirit by saying these everyday things. But that's exactly what it was. Now, I already know a lot of y'all gonna get in the comments and say what you would have done, what I should have done. But the truth is, you don't know what the hell you would have done. It's all fun and games until that demon standing right there in front of you. This woman was very smooth with her tongue. Real good at making you feel crazy. Real good at making you second guess yourself. So it did take me a while to catch on to her tactics. But I did in the end. A lot of y'all may also think that because she had such a strong hold on me, it was because I was weak in faith or I wasn't grounded or something like that. Baby, the devil can torment anybody. Job stood on business, and he was still tormented by the devil. So don't ever think that you're too good to be touched by the devil. Sometimes God allows us to go through things because that same thing that breaks us for the moment will be the same thing that he uses to have us minister to people. So a few years ago, this same thing had me suicidal. But here I am today behind this screen ministering to you. There's somebody right now going through the exact same thing I went through. And they don't know how to get out of it. They don't even believe what's going on. But when they hear me speak on these things, they can relate to them. And it make a whole lot of sense when I say it. That's why God allows certain things. That's what it is to be chosen. You get hand-picked for spiritual warfare, and you are required to be stronger than everybody else. You can't call yourself a warrior for Christ if you ain't never been to war. A lot of y'all in these comments, homie, in my inbox talking about this and that. You ain't no real man of God. How you gonna be a man of God and you cursing? Man, be quiet. Y'all ain't been to war for real. Y'all ain't never had the devil at your front doorstep. A lot of y'all ain't even ever seen nobody possessed before. I grew up watching people get demons called out of them. Y'all saw it on TV. I lived through that. This low vibrational entity, when she came into my life, infestation followed her. Bad luck followed her. My bedroom was infested with bed bugs. Her period came on during sex. She bled all over me, bled in my bed, on my floor. She had marked up my walls. Big handprints with blood on my walls, on my light switches. And nah, she didn't clean it up. She meant to leave it there. She also pissed on my floor. Marked her territory the way animals do. This sounds like something that you would hear out of a freaking movie, homie. But I lived through it. I would catch this woman in lies, hold her accountable, curse her out, tell her I'm done with you, little mama. I leave her alone. She goes straight to her ancestors, straight doing candle magic, straight to love magic, trying to manifest me back. Talk about a way to misuse your gifts. So every week out of the month, this thing would manifest in her, and it would come to the forefront. And whenever this happened, she would warn me and she would try to stay away from me. But I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to meet this thing. I wanted to know what I was dealing with. So I convinced her to come over while this thing was manifested. I met this thing. Baby, when I tell you this thing was pure hate. She sat in my living room and her eyes were pitch black. And I remember looking at this thing sitting in my couch in my living room. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I was scared. I ain't scared of demons, but in that particular moment, I was scared. This thing looked at me like it honestly wanted to devour me. The eyes of it followed me around the room like it was stalking me, and you could feel this demonic presence in the air. When she left, I remember sitting on my couch and begging God to get me out of this. I knew that he was taking me through it to teach me something, but that don't mean that I wanted to go through it. Job knew that God still loved him while he was letting the devil torment him, but that don't mean Job wanted to go through it. When you are chosen, you are marked for betrayal. You are marked for heartache. You are marked for doggone warfare. And your life ain't easy. Honestly, wouldn't even notice her if you was near her. She was quiet, just a petite, little quiet, pretty girl. It's crazy that she can conjure up and manifest so many dark entities when she had social anxiety. She used to get choked up talking to me all the time because she said I made her nervous. But the thing is, she was so used to being around entities and not people that she felt comfortable around dark entities and anxious around people. She grew up in that, got raped in multiple foster homes, father in prison, mama dead, grandmama raised her and taught her witchcraft. With all that trauma and that dark, twisted family history, this woman was the perfect vessel for a dark entity to house. You see, when I met this woman, she told me that she was obsessed with me. And of course, I never thought anything of it. I thought that was just her way of exaggerating how she felt about me. Nah, that wasn't the case. She wasn't lying to me at all. You see, the thing with a succubus is a sex spirit. So when it came down to sex or physical intimacy, she was top tier. Am I bragging on that? No. Was it something that I would do again if I had the chance? No. But I'm being honest. It's like she was made for sex. She had the softest skin, a Coke bottle shape. Didn't matter if she was outside all day. When she pulled them panties down, I never smelled anything on her. Never. Didn't matter what position I put in or however I folded up. Whenever I gave her that pressure, she took every inch of me. Never ran. Maintained eye contact as she followed instructions well. Her snapper was sloppy wet every time. Mouth sloppy wet. I would often see different spirits standing in the corner of the room we was in while we was having sex. Many times she would stop and say she felt something walk into the room while we having sex. There was times where her spirit spouse attacked me after sex. There was times where her spirit spouse interrupted me and her during sex.